Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to That Kind of Nerds podcast, a weekly show that tells you what is going on in the nerdy world. I am CJ Mellon, joined, as always, by Josh Burns and Brian Thornton.
What up?
I am emotionally wrecked. I don't know what to say right now.
This is Brian post Spider-Man, PS4 Spider-Man. How do you refer to this game?
Just Spider-Man for PS4.
Spider-Man, all right.
Josh, if you would like to know why I'm so emotionally wrecked, we can talk about it after CJ gets off the hangout. Just saying.
Yeah.
No spoilers. No spoilers for that game.
Yeah,
I do.
Good luck getting a PS4 and then the game and then, playing it. You're going to get it spoiled. I'm just saying. It's going to happen.
I'll figure some way out. I avoided spoilers for lots of things a lot longer than this.
Okay.
If this is your first episode, I highly recommend you go to intro.thatkindofnerd.com so you can learn a little bit about the show, a little bit about us, and then go ahead and just jump into this head first.
I recommend you don't do that. I recommend you start with episode 2.
Whoa. Oh, don't do that. No, that's
good.
really...
We talked about Daredevil. I remember that one.
I know, but we were really rough.
That's
I
really...
know. So that way, when you listen to this episode, you're like, oh, they got a lot better.
There you the stream. Oof. That is really... Oh, God. I talked about the Apple Watch. Oh, my God. How old is this episode? April 12th of 2015?
Yeah, it's over 3 years old. We've been doing this for over 3 years.
Long time.
It's weird.
Well, this episode is brought to you by our patrons on Patreon. So if you would love to support the show after you listen to the intro episodes, go to patreon.com/thatkindofnerd. And if you sign up for our $10 tier, you also get a bonus episode where we're going to be reviewing a movie. Which
what's funny?
I can't speak. Is
That
that
is-
funny?
yeah.
Is
You
that
know what?
funny?
No,
For sure.
I can't
For
speak.
sure.
3 months after we started this podcast, I saw the first trailer for the Spider-Man game I just completed. That's how fucking long it took to come out.
That's awesome.
Well, you know what? There's no better way to start the show, so that's where we're going. Let us, though, first talk about the world of TV and movies in a segment that we call Screen to Stream. And we're talking first about Jack Ryan, the Amazon original series.
No, we're not. You two are. I'm not.
It's been 2 weeks since
I've
the
been
show has
playing
premiered,
Spider-Man.
which is our standard time to go ahead and talk about the show. So we're going to keep it nice and spoiler-free for you. Brian has not seen it because, as he's just stated, he's been swinging around New York City.
As per usual.
Surprise, surprise! Brian didn't watch a television show. All right. So let's start off with
I
this.
saved New York this week. What did you do?
That's true. Let's start off with this. I say a prerequisite to watching Jack Ryan is watching 13 Hours. I think it's a great primer to just get you ready for John Krasinski to not be Jim from The Office.
I think that watching Jack Ryan is a good primer to 13 Hours.
because you say the other way around.
It's a really good transition from Jim into Jack Ryan into whatever the guy's name was from 13 Hours.
Who knows?
Who was a total badass and just a killer.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Cool.
So
I'll give you that. No, absolutely.
Where do we want? Where can we begin with Jack Ryan?
What I'll say is this. I really like the fact that they make him an ordinary dude, right? Which is what Jack Ryan has always been. He's just a guy.
Well, he's not. Come on.
He's got military training, but I mean, like, you could find...
Yes, he's got military training.
Yes.
And he's an excellent marksman, and he's in peak physical form because he keeps himself that way because he was, a for real soldier,
right?
Who was in a horrible accident. That's every Jack Ryan story.
But what I mean is, he doesn't have like superhuman strength or abilities. He is not the best fighter.
Okay,
right? Like
yes.
he is an actual human. Like, you could actually find somebody who
he's not
is
Jason
like this.
Bourne.
Right. This isn't
exactly
Jason Bourne. This isn't James Bond. It's not that. It's grounded within a reality.
Yep.
For it. And I gotta say, the show is definitely one that you're just like, I want the next episode. I want the pacing is just right on point for it.
Pacing's on point. The writing's on point. There are funny parts. There are emotional parts. There are cliffhangers. There's a total mind fuck.
Oh yeah,
which is unbelievable.
Absolutely.
And even they even wrote the villain in a way that you can empathize. And you're going, why do I feel some kind of way about this guy?
Yeah, I was the same thing. I was just like, wow, these characters are so well written. They're so three-dimensional. It's not melodramatic. People are bad because of reasons. And like, just like you said, at some points you're like, I understand where you're coming from. I don't agree. But I am in your mind enough that I understand where you are going. And there's so many little breadcrumbs and so many other things that are laid out that just pay off later. That paying attention to detail is rewarded, right? This is not a show that rewards you for being on your phone, checking Twitter, or talking to somebody.
No. You need to watch.
This is a show that requires that you watch, but rewards you for doing that, which is a fantastic part for it. The cast is great. John Krasinski can't say enough great things about him. And then this is where I need some IMDb action here.
Abby Cornish for sure is fantastic, right? And then the Bunk.
Yep,
the Bunk is amazing. I don't know the name of the villain, but I do know that he played the guy that saved Mark Wahlberg in Lone Survivor.
Right.
Which is, as soon as I saw him, I was like, look, it has people that you've seen. It has people that you're comfortable with. And it even has, in one of those episodes there, CJ, there's even like a bunkism in there.
Yes. I saw that when they would she.
No. He went,
it was the shit. There was. Me. Oh, was that it?
Oh,
Wasn't there a scene? And I may be crisscrossing shows.
You are crisscrossing shows. There is a show right now where Clay Davis is on it, and or Bunk is on it, and they did that, but it's not this show. Anyway,
wait, wasn't Clay Davis in the opening?
No.
What was I watching then?
I don't know.
Okay.
It wasn't this, and I did have someone say this to me earlier this week.
Okay, so it's a common
but
thing.
It was not Jack Ryan.
Okay, that's fine.
So look, it's got a bunch of people you've already known and seen. Abby Cornish was in Limitless, and I really liked her role with Bradley Cooper in Limitless. She's been in other stuff, but that's what I recall her from. She was excellent. I mean, she's really, really, really good.
She was a great, strong female character in a show that's got like this macho machismo thing going on.
And then you got Timothy Hutton, sort of as the CIA boss guy. I like Timothy Hutton. I like him in a bunch. And I mean, I hate to say it, as much as I don't like hokey product placement shows. Leverage,
yeah,
was a good show.
Great show. It was a good show.
And Timothy Hutton was very, very good in Leverage. So like, I welcome all that. Look, you're not going to regret watching this show, and the soundtrack is actually really good, really good. And you've got some contemporary stuff, you got some older stuff you'll recognize. The one thing that I sent to you guys from this show was Howling by Cathedrals, that I thought was excellent, really well used, and a very good song. So check out this show. You're going to love it.
Something I do want to say real quick about the show. There's two things. Number one is any other Jack Ryan properties or things that are out in the world, Hunt for Red October, just to name one that you may know, completely irrelevant. This is a new story, so you don't need to know any kind of Jack Ryan lore.
You don't.
Second thing, this show doesn't give a shit about an opening title. It says Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, original Prime series, directed by, written by, here's the fucking show. Like, it's 15 seconds and you're in the episodes every single time. So this does not want to hold back.
It totally stands up to everything they've done, and in some cases is better.
Yeah. So highly recommend it
for sure.
Put it on your list.
I actually recommending Brian should probably watch it at some point.
I'm sure he'll watch it. And how long did it take you to get Spider-Man? It took 3 years to get Spider-Man. So 3 years we'll get Brian to watch Jack Ryan.
Ryan. I'm not making a video game.
They're already greenlit season 2. You really want to be 2 seasons behind a Jim Halpert show?
Would you calm your shit? I'm going to watch it soon. I just finished the game. You
keep saying these ridiculous things to me about watching things and that you will do them.
I'm almost done with season 1 of Veronica Mars.
Congratulations.
CJ...
It's a good show.
Stands up.
I want to address that bet. So Brian and I made a gentleman's agreement that if I watch 3 seasons of Veronica Mars, he will have to watch.
Yeah, I gotta watch that before I watch Jack Ryan or Iron Fist.
3 seasons of Capaldi. I am almost done season 1, and I want to just share a moment of my life that happened. I started watching the show, and again, I've heard about this. I heard that I would like it. I do. I liked it from the start. My wife was sitting next to me, and she goes, "What are you watching?" I was like, "I'm watching Veronica Mars." She goes, "This is stupid." Okay, these people don't look like they're in high school. They're in like their 30s. That guy's not dressed like a rich kid at all. I'm like, well,
90210.
It was the UPN. I'm sure they didn't have budget for like rich white people clothes. Like this,
that was like 2001. So
yeah,
I don't
it's
know
still
how rich people.
But I was like,
that
guy has a puka shell necklace. You know, he's a 90s kid because he's got a puka shell necklace. It's like, this show is stupid. 2 days later, we were watching something else. My wife was like, why aren't we watching Veronica Mars? I was like, I thought you didn't like that show. Yeah, I don't care. It's good. Okay. So thank you, Brian.
So your wife is just as hypocritical as you, is what you're telling me.
I have a list. My wife and I have a list of shows that she initially hated that I was like, we love these shows now. And I have compiled it, and I will be sharing it right now. Dexter, that was a show that when she started watching, that was stupid. Doctor Who, that's so stupid, it's way too British. Why am I watching this? Now she loves it. Veronica Mars. The Big Bang Theory, which again, I had a falling out with, but at first she thought it was stupid. How I Met Your Mother, she was questioning why the hell I was watching that show. She thought it was stupid. Chuck, she thought it was stupid. Psych, she thought it was stupid. Do you know what it is? She's a huge fan of all of these shows now. So every time she says this show is
Laura was the same on Doctor Who and Chuck and a couple others. I still don't think she's totally bought into Chuck, but I get where you're at, CJ. I totally get it.
It's just a thing. Since we're done talking about Jack Ryan, there is a story we do want to touch upon that I believe Brian and Josh, you both saw, and you guys had a weird quasi-twin moment where you both talked about it at the exact same time. That Apple is removing purchased movies from users' iTunes library. And Josh, as you also brought up in our conversations, it's not just Apple, but like this is pretty interesting. Someone tell me what's going on, and then Brian, I can understand why this probably doesn't affect you, sir.
And that was actually the thing that I thought immediately upon reading this article was Apple, Google, Amazon. They're all like all the digital stores. If you purchase something and the supplier takes it off the shelf, you lose that. And I went, I don't have a shelf. Brian has many shelves. He's got shelves. He's got multiple shelves. I don't have a shelf. Am I really worried about it? Only because I own some obscure shit, right? I own some stuff that's likely to go off, out of production or whatever. We're not talking about, Marvel. We're not talking about big titles, but when something gets pulled by the studio, the digital storefront gives it up. And even if you purchased it at full price, you lose it.
And the other part too is there's no refunds. Like someone wrote to Apple, was like, "Hey, I really want a refund," and they were like, "No," and then it got escalated, and then they resolved it with, "Well, here's $6 for a free movie rental."
It was two movie rentals. I mean, don't mischaracterize. It was two movie rentals for $6.99 or whatever it was, which is
they give you $5.99 US for two movie rentals. Like,
there you go. So I'm not saying that's a good solution. I'm saying
you probably paid $10.
They may have
for one movie.
I'm not defending the move. I'm saying it's not about Google or Apple or Amazon.
This happened with me with Amazon once. I bought an ebook and they pulled the ebook and it was on my Kindle app. And then I went to go read it. I loaded the Kindle store. I was like, I want to finish reading this, and whoop, it was gone. I'm like, what the hell? I was in the middle of reading this book. They're like, oh, it's been pulled from the publisher. It was published on ebook by accident. I'm like, that doesn't. But okay. So, and I honestly, I don't buy movies on iTunes anymore. This is just more proof that like if you have streaming services or anything like that, you don't own anything. But I mean, is it DRM protected? Can you not download this and burn it onto a CD or DVD?
No, you cannot. It's all on their server.
So it's all DRM. Fantastic.
And when you download a file onto your device, it's still just a file that's accessed. You know what I mean? You can't extract.
Yeah, and I guess that's the other problem. And I mean that's where the digital copies of everything can kind of come.
And that wouldn't matter. It doesn't matter what Amazon, Google, whatever. So they're all the same. They all protect their content.
Yep. To prevent the piracy, but at the same time, no dice. So I just thought it was interesting. It kind of comes to the point, I guess, where Brian's kind of been living his life for a while. This is something that you truly love. You want to have it forever, even something that's quote unquote permanent, as iTunes or Amazon doesn't necessarily mean that will be yours forever. At some point, some service will die. When ebooks were a big thing, like remember the Nook and all the other things that you could read books on, a lot of people bought books on those platforms, then the platform died and now they couldn't play for anything. Not saying Apple and Amazon and Google are at risk of like going out of business and you're done.
I'm more worried about DVD dying.
It's a little different with books, though. I mean, this is purely predicated on whether the studio wants to continue to make these things available on the service.
I'm worried about things like Christmas Vacation, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. You know what I mean? Like things like that from like the 80s. That's what I'm worried about. I don't want to lose those. Stripes. Oh my God, don't take Stripes away from me.
You should probably get a shelf then, Josh.
Stripes. Here's why I'm never going to do that. Because I'm sitting on my sofa. It's late at night. Whatever game I was watching just ended. I have time to watch a movie before I go to bed, right? So I flip on The Bourne Identity, and then I go, I don't want to watch that. I want to watch Ocean's 11. I don't want to watch that. I want to watch The Italian Job. I don't want to watch that. I want to watch The Bourne Ultimatum.
You're very non-committal with your movie choices.
I really am. And
that annoys the shit out of me.
I don't know it until I get a few minutes in, and if I feel it, then I know. And if I don't, I got to bail now because I'm going to hate myself in an hour when I start another movie. Because that's going to happen. It's going to fucking happen.
It's like starting an episode of SVU.
It's like
don't start that one. No, I get it.
It's like you're treating movies like they're Tinder or something.
And then ultimately, I go back to like an episode of Jack Ryan and I just watch that. So I'm not. God. I know you hate me. I get it, but that's the reason I don't own DVDs. Could you imagine how angry I'd be every 5 minutes switching DVDs? And what I would have to do on my shelf?
I'm hearing somebody yell Synology and Plex at us, and just no.
Oh, and God forbid one of my children get the shelf out of order. You see, I love my kids, so I have to have iTunes.
All right, well, now that we're done talking about the world of TV and movies, it's time to turn our attention to the world of comic books. See how it's affecting TV, also see how it's affecting those movies, but most of all, ladies and gentlemen, how is it affecting Brian? Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Cape Talk.
Cape Talk!
Ladies and gentlemen, Henry Cavill made the news this week because he's not Superman anymore, but he is he's not Superman anymore.
He's not Superman.
He's not Superman. Okay, so a rumor came around that Henry Cavill is leaving Superman because negotiations broke down due to a cameo that he was supposed to make in Shazam.
Scheduling conflicts.
Well, it was a scheduling conflict for Shazam, but that was code
which is what people say when they're saying you're not giving me what I want you to give me.
Right. So somebody linked, I think, to the Hollywood Reporter, Henry Cavill is leaving Superman because of all this shit. To which we're all just like, oh, that's not good. And then Brian just goes, you know who's right next to him? Ben Affleck. And this isn't unfounded, right?
It was hours before.
It was literally an hour.
Before.
Just an hour.
Before.
And he said Ben Affleck. And listen, the reason he said Ben Affleck is because Ben Affleck's supposed to write, direct, and star in the Batman movie.
Not anymore. No. The reason I said Ben Affleck is because they keep jerking him around with this Batman movie. He was supposed to write and direct it. Then they said no. And then they rewrote his script from the ground up. And then they signed on Matt Reeves. And meanwhile, people have read Ben Affleck's script and are saying it's the best thing they've ever read. I'm not even joking. I'm not even talking about fans. Like a studio exec came out and said, I read the Ben Affleck Batman script, and it's probably the best Batman I've ever seen.
That wasn't a sarcastic laugh. That was the most hysterical, real laugh I've ever done.
So
that coupled with the fact that I'm pretty sure this whole Batman debacle has driven him into rehab because he's dealing with that right now.
Right.
And I knew Ben Affleck's going to be next.
So,
Ben
but
Affleck's
here's the thing.
Be next, and they're going to have to redo their entire universe with Gal Gadot and Aquaman.
Don't jump the gun, Brian, because you jumped the gun. Because then Henry Cavill went on Instagram and then did the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen.
No one knows what he did. There's no confirmation.
That was so strange.
I'm just saying it was weird.
And so out of context.
I'm just saying everyone jumped to a conclusion, and the thing is, we don't know what the hell is going on. Because
the truth is, we have no idea if Henry Cavill's still
right. So let me just explain. He made an Instagram video where he's wearing a Krypton heavy, like Krypton weightlifters t-shirt,
Krypton lifting team or something.
And then he there's some weird dog barking song going on with it. And then he pulls up a Superman doll, looks at the camera, pulls it down, and then it just loops. So who knows what the hell that means? And sources are saying, "Oh no, this is a contract negotiation that's gone public, and Henry Cavill just wants more money. He's really not out." So listen, we don't know what's going on. So I turned to our patrons on Patreon and I said, "Hey guys, we all know CJ here, a little critical of DC, right? So surprise, surprise. What are your thoughts as to what's going on within the DC universe, and what do you think is happening?"
Can I give my novice opinion, and then Brian
please
can lay some truth on us?
Yeah.
My only take on this is Henry Cavill goes, "I don't like what's happening. I'm out," and he actually says, "I'm out."
Right.
And then Affleck goes, "Guys, I kind of need Superman for everything I'm doing. And we kind of need it for everything we've been doing. And if he's not here, everything we've done makes no sense. And if he's out, I'm out. And you're out, Batman and Superman." And they go, "Henry Cavill, you can have everything you want. Here you go." That's the only thing I can imagine happened.
So I asked Brian Roman, and then after we hear Brian Roman, Brian, I'd love to hear your opinion. Roman says, just blow up the DCEU, give everything to Berlanti, and be done with it. If they want to do movies, blow up everything they have to do now and do it differently. Do Earth 2. No more having to worry if they do Batman vs. Superman right or whatever. Just blow it up.
That's TV stuff. That's not movie stuff.
No, he wants it to blow it up and give it to Berlanti.
Nope. That's TV stuff. That's not movie stuff.
Listen. All right.
I'm reading Roman's words.
I'm disagreeing with the dude.
Right, with completely unfounded anything. So we get
agree.
it. Whether or not Berlanti primarily does television doesn't mean he can't.
My shit's unfounded or his shit's unfounded?
Your shit's unfounded. Just because Berlanti has primarily done television doesn't mean
TV shit, not movie shit.
There are plenty of producers and showrunners who have made the jump to directing
and
movies.
Maybe he will one day, but right now, is he TV shit or is he movie shit?
Why does that matter?
Beside the point. That's what he's saying should happen. It's a pipe dream.
Listen,
here's the thing.
I love all you guys. I love all you super nerds. I really do. I love you. However, if the past week with the Cavill Hemsworth thing has taught you nothing, it's that shit doesn't appeal to the masses. That's all I'm saying. He's TV shit. He's not movie shit.
If it weren't for the fact that we did this podcast, you would have no idea that Berlanti was TV shit. And if you did a DC movie, you'd be completely fine with it.
If we weren't friends, I would have no idea what Greg and Berlanti meant put together.
That's the point.
That's my point.
I get it, but I see. But you've introduced me. That doesn't apply to the masses.
I'm so happy I can introduce you to things so you can have the wrong opinions about them. But that's not the point.
All right, Brian.
The point is this. I don't know what's going on. I do think there's a little bit of truth to the fact that what Josh is saying, because Henry Cavill has been very upfront about the fact that, listen, Justice League was a shit show. Like, there's no two words about it. I don't agree with, I'm not really happy with what's going on. I do think, Henry Cavill has done three movies of Superman. I'm assuming that is all he was signed on to, and now it's time to renegotiate contracts. And they are pretty much banking. He's pretty much saying, listen, you don't have a DC universe if you don't have me.
That's right.
So I don't think he's just making money demands. I'm thinking he's actually making creative demands too. Like, you can't, you gotta do Superman. You gotta do it right. You gotta do it our way, or I'm gone.
Right. But you think that him and Affleck are in cahoots. Right?
No, I don't think they're in cahoots.
They should be. They should be in cahoots.
I think Affleck just saw the opportunity to just leverage.
I think Affleck saw his opening and said, "Hey, you know what? Me too." But here's the thing:
Affleck already has creative control.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
They kicked him off of creative control.
Ripped any creative control away from him.
I thought you just said he was writing, producing, directing.
They took his script and completely blew it up.
They took away his script.
They completely took his script and legitimately threw it in the trash.
And then said, "You're also not directing this Batman movie.
So
you're just going to be starring in it."
I think this. I think Henry Cavill is a lot smarter than we think he is, because I think
or his manager is.
Whether or not, whoever leaked this, I think he knew well about it, and I think he went on that Instagram with whatever weird ass video. Just do something stupid and weird that involves Superman so people will talk about it.
Right.
So that everybody on the Twitter sphere is saying, what the hell is going on? I want Henry Cavill as my Superman. Let's just keep him as Superman. And the public outcry is going to force Warner Brothers to say, all right, we'll do whatever you need us to do. And fine, Affleck will do whatever you need us to do too, because either that or they need to completely start from scratch this Aquaman movie that is coming out. If it has any ties.
Well, same thing with Wonder Woman too,
any
right?
ties to the Justice League that they just did, they got to scrap that.
Yep.
They got to scrap Wonder Woman. And they're like, if we lose these two people, we got to redo everything. And we're already behind the 8 ball as it is. We can't afford to do that.
Josh said the Flash movie. You don't have to throw out the Flash movie. It's already thrown out.
I'm just saying.
That movie's not even
saying,
doing shit.
You know what I think they should do is they should have Henry Cavill write, produce, and direct the Batman movies, and have Ben Affleck write, produce, and direct the Superman movies, and just make each other do ridiculous shit.
No, you know what they need to do, and I am going to level. I'm gonna kind of say what Roman said, but not the same. Listen, I don't need Berlanti to direct anything because, to an extent, I don't think he should be directing a movie. I don't even think he needs to be doing anything. He's doing very well in the CW, but you know who they should get, not to direct, but to consult on how to build their universe? Bruce Timm.
Oh.
Bruce Timm, who has already done a successful Batman animated cartoon for 4 years, a successful Superman animated cartoon for 3 years, a successful Justice League cartoon for 4 years, and built a completely new animated DC universe that was extremely successful. That's the guy you hire and say, we need your help. You're not going to direct, but we need you to consult. We need you to help us build this universe. That's what they should do. They're not going to. I swear to God, Warner Brothers, if you're listening, I just need 1 year. I don't care. Like, you can pay me the lowest salary you can as far as a studio exec goes. Just give me The Office for 1 year. I will fix everything, and you will make billions of dollars. If you want to let me keep the job, that's fine. If not, I'll go back. That's okay.
You should write them a letter. I wrote a letter to the Los Angeles Rams asking the same thing, and they didn't.
He actually wrote. No, seriously, he put pen to paper.
Yeah,
there was a stamp involved.
You should do this, Brian. You should handwrite them a letter, right? Offering to take whatever salary you think you would need to do that job. Just go ahead and write it. See what happens. I mean, you have nothing to lose, do you? There's very little that you have to lose. Just tell them what. Look,
but tell me I'm wrong.
I can do X, Y, Z. You should pay me Y. Here's what I will do.
Here's my takeaway from this whole scenario. In my head, after Henry Cavill just, they're like, hey, we're going to leak that fact that you want more, you want to leave. He's like, all right, yeah, do whatever. And Ben Affleck was just like, yes, my moment to finally say, screw it, I want out too. I imagine they both got coffee together like, can we be best friends now because we both hate Warner Brothers?
Because you know what
they're just hanging out.
You know what they both know for a fact is that every single review, either user or critic, has said the same thing about these movies. The movie is shit, but Henry Cavill's really good.
Or
Ben Affleck was really good.
I like Henry Cavill.
Ben Affleck was really good.
Right.
I mean, really good.
That's what every review says. Hey, the actors
Henry
are
Cavill,
doing great. They just don't have much to work with.
I will watch any Superman movie that Henry Cavill is in. I mean, he is, as far as I'm concerned, he's Superman. I wasn't 1978, Christopher Reeve. That's wonderful.
77.
Those are what?
77.
Was it 77?
He just slyly, just very under his breath. No, I was wrong here.
I'm pretty sure it's 77.
I think it's 78. Christopher Reeve, 1978.
Someone hit the IMDb's. Tell me who's right.
It right now.
No, I'm just gonna say Christopher Reeve, 1978.
77.
A little before my time.
78. Wow, I'm fucked up hard.
Oh!
Josh is right always.
That's a million points for Josh.
So, a great movie, really. I mean, as a child, it was an inspiring movie. It was very cool, but just not. It's not relevant anymore.
And this is where I want to turn around to you, listener. I'm very curious as to what do you think about these rumors. What do you think the current state of the DCEU is, and what's the path now? Where do they go to either salvage this? Do they burn it? Like, what do they do? Tell us. Go hit us up on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, or if you go to thatkindofnerd.com, you can write a comment right there. I'm very curious to hear what you guys think.
And let me be very clear. I still think this universe is salvageable. I don't need to burn it all. I just get the right person in there to fix it.
All right. So since we're talking about DC, let's take it back to just the tiny screen here. I don't know. What's the word for the TV?
The tube?
The tube?
There's no longer tube televisions.
All right. Since we're done talking about the DCEU, let's take it back down to the CW and let's talk a little bit about the Arrowverse right now, because Elizabeth, is it Tulik? Tulik?
I don't know.
Tulik.
What do I look like, a wordsmith?
Elizabeth Tulloch has been tapped to play Lois Lane in the CW Arrowverse. Josh, I just want to mention 2 shows that she has bit roles on, but yet alone, she was on these 2 shows. House MD. Remember the episode where there was the woman who did the donkey show and it ended up being a thing at the church with the Virgin Mary?
Nope.
That was her. And she was on the West Wing as a secretary. Please don't look it up because you won't find her. But she was on those 2 shows nonetheless. Seems pretty cool. She's also been in Grimm and a couple other little shows, bit roles.
Grimm she was a leading role in Grimm, and Grimm lasted at least 3 or 4 years.
Well, then I've never heard of it.
You just never watched it.
I never even heard of it.
You don't watch commercials.
Oh, okay. But anyway, looks cool. Like I said, this isn't one of those names that's going to distract me the whole time, thinking of what else was she in. So pretty down for this. What do you guys think about having our Lois Lane?
I have a fundamental problem in that we're still calling this, and I understand chronologically it was the first show to come out, but the fact that we're calling it Arrowverse and not Flashverse or whatever.
Technically, they call it the Flowerverse. Flash
what?
Arrow.
No.
That's what I've heard.
No.
I'm just saying.
No.
Listen.
And you don't go based on what show is better. You go based on what was first.
I get it, but no. So look, Lois Lane, great, wonderful. Getting caught up on anything but Flash, and I'm already caught. I'm current on Flash.
Yeah.
Getting caught up on anything else in there is the lowest priority I have.
Well, there's some other news, though, concerning this Arrowverse crossover event, and we now know that Stephen Amell's wife actually was cast, who will be playing the wife of Mr. Freeze.
Nora Freeze.
Thank you. I didn't know her name was Nora.
Her name is Nora.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool. Nora Freeze means we could get a Mr. Freeze.
Sure.
The CW is very intent on keeping the Amell family in business between Steven, Robbie, and now Steven's wife.
Cassandra, by the way. Her name is Cassandra.
Cassandra. Thank you. I was trying to remember her name.
Cassandra Jean Amell.
Which one's Robbie?
Robbie Amell was the guy who played Firestorm in the first season of Flash.
Was Robbie.
Yes, it was. Okay,
his name was Robbie. And you know why I know that? Because she won't shut up about it. Sorry, go ahead.
Anyway, if anybody knows anything about the Mr. Freeze story origin, that was originated in the animated series that was created by Bruce Timm, just FYI. Another reason why he should be helping out with live action stuff. She's eventually going to get trapped in cryogenic stasis, and Mr. Freeze is going to go insane, so that's something to look forward to.
Well, the other part too is we have the connection that Ruby Rose's Batwoman, right, is going to be introduced in this crossover event. So I mean, could we see like a female Mr. Freeze character if they can't get Mr. Freeze?
I don't think so. I hope not. That would be weird. That the fact that she is dying and is in suspended animation is so integral to Mr. Freeze's character.
You just flip it. My husband is dying and now he's in suspended state. They just go,
yeah, but no. I don't like that.
I don't like it either. I'm just saying, do you think it's a possibility?
I'm sure it's a possibility, but I don't think, with what we've seen so far in all these shows, even in Supergirl, when they do Superman stories, it's not just like, it's a Superman story, but we're going to put Supergirl in it. They make it their own.
Right.
I don't think they would do that. I could be wrong, but I don't think they would, because it's just lazy writing. Honestly, it really is.
It's fine.
So, I would hope it would be more of a Mr. Freeze. She could be huge. She could be there could be a season or 2 of her doing something either nefarious or maybe to help out Batwoman or anything before she gets put into stasis. But I don't know. I don't work for CW. I would like to work for Warner Brothers studio.
If you're hiring Brian
letter
Thornton,
you need to write.
There's another letter for you, Brian. There you go. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now that we are done with the world of comics, I like to go around the internet. I like to find the weird. I like to find the obscure. And then I ask these two gentlemen for a tech perspective. And Brian, we're going first off to you, sir. But I want to talk to you. But I just want to. This is about Spider-Man.
That was the jazziest modem ever.
That was
indeed.
It's like scat.
You mentioned Spider-Man.
I did mention Spider-Man. Brian Roman asked us for some impressions for you. Also, he is curious as to where you come down on the costume selection within Spider-Man, because he doesn't see a reason to ever switch out of the Scarlet Spider. So I'm just curious if you could tell us a little bit about how you've enjoyed the Spider-Man game. Keep it spoiler-free, and then answer the questions about the costumes. And you're not going to be able to rant a whole lot. You're going to have to keep that a little quiet.
All right. My impressions of the Spider-Man game, and you're telling me I have to keep it spoiler-free.
Just spoiler-free, and just, let's not. We don't have 3 hours, so we'll.
I legitimately just finished it minutes before we started recording, and I am truly emotionally and physically just exhausted because I was up till like 2 a.m. every night playing this game, and not because like I felt some beholden, to finish it in time to tell Josh if Christian could play it, although that was a factor. I just got so wrapped up in the game itself, I forgot what time it was. If it weren't for the fact that I had set like alarms, I would be playing this until 6 a.m.
You set alarms to stop playing the game?
Yep. And then I ignored set alarms.
I used to do that when I played Skyrim. Yeah.
This game is extremely well done. It is everything. The only way I can equate it is it is everything that you liked about Arkham Knight, but with Spider-Man and on a larger scale. Because I don't know if you know this, Manhattan's pretty big.
Yeah, it's big.
And
was it just the borough of Manhattan, or did it go
the entire
Brooklyn, Queens? So all 5 boroughs,
all 5 boroughs,
island. Yep.
All the way down from
so it's
Wall
not
Street,
just Manhattan,
all the way up to Harlem. Hell's Kitchen,
it's the entire
everything.
New York City,
and the amount of
all the way up to Harlem. I mean, that's just greater Manhattan. Harlem is just above. Hell's Kitchen is just sort of there. Like, did it go into Brooklyn, Queens? Like,
no. It cut off at Harlem. That's as far north as you go.
Far north as you go is Harlem. Okay, and so it was really just the island.
Right, it's just the island. This game is so detailed, Josh. You can legit go to a specific street and see what is supposed to be there. Like the Wall Street Bowl is exactly where it's supposed to be.
I know the things that are supposed to be there.
I know. I'm just trying to paint a picture, Joshua.
I'm saying if you're saying this and I get Christian this game and I take him down in the financial district and the malt house isn't where it's supposed to be, I'm going to be angry.
Listen, like shops like the restaurants and stuff like that, they've switched out a little bit.
Okay.
But like the big landmarks, like the churches, Grand Central Station.
A lot of people who are from New York has said this is one of the best representations of New York in not only video games, but also like in movies. And
that's cool.
It's extremely
that's really cool.
It's legit. And that's just how detailed the game is. And then on top of that, you add the fact that the entire all the mechanics of the game are fantastic, and I don't want to get too much into it because I'm told I don't have 3 hours. But you truly feel like Spider-Man. You truly feel like you are that character
with a controller in your hand.
I have a question.
Feel like Spider-Man.
Yes.
Most Spider-Man games, just like Spider-Man movies, sometimes don't nail the balance between Peter Parker and Spider-Man himself. How does this game handle that?
This game does, and it's amazing. And that's what I was going to say next. The story is so well done that there are story missions that you are not in the costume for. There are things that you play as Peter Parker, and it's like a lot of like gathering information and everything, but the story beats are as Peter Parker are so, emotional that when things happen, you truly are invested in these characters, that it actually generates an emotional response. I legit cried at this game, not just because of how amazing it is, but because the things happen that make you cry. And it's very well done. They take the Spider-Man universe and they do their own thing. So I'm sitting here being like, I know everything about that, so I know how this story is going to play out. Nope. They do things differently. They rearrange things so that, like, I didn't see things coming, is my point. It was truly a surprise and truly just an amazing experience.
That's cool.
So then the other part, too, is there's a lot of unlockable costumes that are in the game. Yeah.
So let's talk about the costumes.
I've seen the ones. I've seen them.
You seen them?
I've seen them, Lois. You know I've seen them.
I'm a little disappointed with the costume selection.
I have issues with it too, but I'm a huge fan of the Scarlet Spider costume. So
I am too.
That's what Brian Roman says. How do you feel about the costume selection, number one? And then do you see any reason to play besides any other costume than Scarlet Spider?
I was a little disappointed with some of the costumes. Out of like maybe the 15 costumes you unlock, I really truly loved about a third of them, maybe 5 of them, 6 of them. Scarlet Spider is one of them, but I gotta be honest with you, I love that 2099 costume, and in game it looks
which one, the black one or the white one?
Both.
There's
but
two.
The original black and red looks fantastic.
Let me ask a question. Brian Roman's asking, is there ever a reason to switch out of the Scarlet Spider? Does it do something different?
So the really cool thing that they did in this game is that each suit has its own special ability that you can use throughout the game. And when you first unlock it, like, it's automatically attached. But the nice thing is you could switch out the costume and still keep that ability. So there's really no reason to switch off of a costume that you love.
Just for a power.
Just for a power. Because you can mix and match them however you want. It's legitimate. It's totally an aesthetic thing. And I'm okay with that. But like I played with the 2099 costume. I played with the Scarlet Spider costume. I switched out to the Noir costume just because it's cool. Right. Just be like swinging around
in a different mood,
as that skin.
So
it's
why
cool.
why would Brian Roman be asking? Is there ever a reason to switch off?
Because it's so cool looking.
Because it's just a cool factor. That's legitimately the only reason.
That's the thing that when I saw it, I was like, does it have the most powers? I don't understand
It doesn't. I don't even know what power it has. I latched on. I found one power that I really liked. I just put it on all my costumes. It was awesome.
Here's the other thing. This also came. Spider-Man hit the news in a different way, and I just want to touch upon this. I don't want to go too deep down the rabbit hole for this.
By the way, DLC gets released next month. Just FYI.
All right.
So finish the game because it's story DLC.
There was a fan of this video game that you knew was coming out that, like Brian said, has been in development for like over 3 years. And asked Insomniac, which is the studio that made the game, if they would make an Easter egg. They would help him hide an Easter egg within the game. The Easter egg was a proposal to his girlfriend.
Yeah, I saw it. It's on a movie theater marquee.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very long story short, their relationship did not work out.
Oh no! But it made the game.
And here's the thing: Insomniac. He let Insomniac know, hey, listen, like a couple days before the game came out.
I read that she broke up with him and went with his brother. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Holy crap! Are you kidding me?
It's not like it's. So her side of the story, it's really not like that. Here's the thing. Then we're gonna dive into this.
It's not like that.
Here we go.
But she is with the guy's brother.
No, here we go. She hates video games. She's not a fan of video games. So he, not really getting her personality, wants to hide this Easter egg in a video game. She doesn't even care about that. Their relationship was extremely rocky, and then...
I can't believe you're defending this. This is like one of the most romantic moves I've ever seen.
But listen...
And you're... No. You're over here going, but she doesn't like it. Look, I gotta tell you, there's a lot of shit I do Laura doesn't like.
Right.
She still participates.
But
you know why? She loves me.
Right, but that's the thing. Those two don't love each other. That was the whole point. That was the whole problem. So
I'm not saying they don't love each other. I'm saying this dude did love her and made this move. And now you're over there going, he shouldn't have made the move because he misjudged the relationship. And she clearly wasn't on the same level because she doesn't care about video games and blah, 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 blah.
This is why I didn't want to go down the rabbit hole.
But you did. You brought this shit on yourself.
Listen, I was trying to keep it high level. Then Brian brought up the fact that she ran away with his brother, which isn't
That's
really
all I read,
happened.
and I just wanted to confirm.
Know.
Apparently, you're more intuitive into these people's relationships and lives.
I've read a great deal about this because I was debating whether we're going to bring this up, but here we are. Let me just read Brian Roman's comment on this. Regarding the sad Easter egg thing in Spider-Man, it's not that sad. The dude wanted to propose to his girlfriend through video games. She wouldn't give a fuck about that. She didn't like video games. She has no awareness, and it just tells you how clueless this guy was about the state of his relationship. Telling everyone that she left him for his brother when he himself sent him to check on her is doubly shitty thing to say. People have forced this poor girl off the internet because of his manipulative bullshit. Fuck this guy with impact webbing. The thing comes down to this. The brother...
Oh, Brian Roman.
The brother went to the ex and said, "Hey, listen.
Oh yeah, super innocent. Let me go console your
go check
your
on
hot
your,
girlfriend.
Can you go check on my brother, please? Like, can you please go talk to him? Can you guys patch up your relationship?" And then the brother and the girl began a relationship on the fact that he was just so despondent to it.
Bro, let me say one fucking thing right now.
Go for it.
That is a violation.
I agree, but that's not like
no.
The way that Brian just.
Okay.
Only because this is how the internet's phrased it. The way
I don't care how clueless you are about your shit. That is not okay.
I agree. I 100% agree with you.
What's also not okay is the way this guy is dealing with it.
The characterization
that's
she ran away with his brother was she said no to the relationship because of the brother, and that's not what happened. She said no to the engagement.
Oh my God, I don't care at all. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This is a very cool move.
When do we turn into Us Weekly?
I don't know.
You don't know that it wasn't going to be just a flash on a screen, and he's like, "Hey, look, I paused the game." Right?
No,
you don't know.
It was probably going to be
listen, this is the only thing I'm going to say about this. Either way, the girl would have had to be playing the game to see the proposal, and she doesn't give a shit about video games. So
yeah,
the whole concept of doing it is kind of dumb. That's not how I would propose, because if she doesn't like video games, I'm not going to do that.
So here's the thing. So he also tweeted Insomniac, but when the relationship ended, and said, "Hey, like, here's the silver lining in all this. Hey, the relationship ended." They said, "Oh, that sucks. Would you like us to remove it for a patch? Like, we'll take it out of the video game." And he said, "No, I want you to leave it in the game and let somebody else use this Easter egg for their relationship. Let somebody get married out of this situation." So it is still in the game, and I think what her name was, Megan or something.
Maddie.
If you want to ask Maddie to marry you, and you have Spider-Man for PlayStation 4, use the Easter egg.
Wow, a lot of really stars need to align for that to be able to happen.
Listen, you just need to know a girl named Maddie.
They'll change. They can change the name.
Just get rid of Maddie then, and just keep "Will you marry me?" Just keep it that way.
It's 6 characters. I'm sure they can fit more in there. Not a big deal.
Every week, a DLC for Spider-Man, a brand new name on the marquee, $4 a pop.
God, you guys are so jaded.
No, I thought it was funny.
I'm getting the season's pass, and I'll just see how how many times that name changes.
Vanessa, we're pregnant. Just stuff like that. Okay. All right. In other news of 180s, yet again, everyone just seems to understand that I find a topic like, we should talk about that. And then the next day it's like, we're going to reverse our situation on this. Microsoft was testing a quote-unquote warning for Windows 10 users not to install Google Chrome and Firefox. It would come up.
You to use Edge or whatever it's called.
Oh, yeah. A little pop-up would come up and say, whoa. You've already got the safest browser, right? You already have Microsoft Edge, this safer, faster browser for Windows 10. Open Microsoft Edge or install anyway. So this came out and people were like, no, listen, I'm not putting Edge on my computer. I'm not using that. So let me install it. And then Windows said, oh shit, nobody likes that. And they have pulled the warning. But yet again, why? Like, why must you do a 180 on this? Josh, what do you think about the fact that Edge is already installed, no one uses it, Chrome and Firefox are like the defaults for Windows users? What do you think about this move?
Look, I had a Surface Pro. I had 2 Surface Pros. I never used IE. I wouldn't use Edge if it was there. Like, I downloaded it on my phone and I tried to use it, and it made no sense to me.
It's really dumb.
Really dumb. It's really dumb. Like, it's not even an actual browser. It just isn't intuitive, and it isn't easy to use, and it's just dumb. So the U-turn makes sense to me. The initial warning also makes sense to me. They want people to use their browser because it generates revenue.
Right, but what about the fact that they're marketing it as the safer browser for Windows? I mean, like...
Well, I mean, frankly, it's native, so it likely is.
Oh, all right.
I mean, that's my only argument for it, is that it is native, it's there, it's installed when you get the machine. It's part of the system, so it absolutely is more applicable.
Yeah, I guess it's probably tied into like Windows Defender and a couple other fires.
Everything's tied in together.
And they're trying so hard just to get market share back because no one uses those browsers, and that's why Chrome and Firefox are way more popular. And if you have a Mac,
real problem
you have Safari.
is revenue generation from ads.
Right.
It's not
Bing search.
It's not clicks, right? I mean, some of it is clicks, but it's clicks to ads, clicks to ads. And if you're not using that browser, then you're screwed. Well, at least the manufacturer of the browser.
Right. All right. Final piece of tech perspective, and I just want to, listener, we're being kind because I can hear Brian's voice yelling to my ear. Apple held their September iPhone event. They unveiled the iPhone XR, the iPhone XS, and the iPhone XS Max. Talk about those names however you want to. I want to talk about the best part of the entire presentation. The entire keynote was Tim Cook trolling every single person. A couple minutes before the actual event started, someone noticed that Tim Cook's Twitter feed posted a very odd thing. It said, "No, who can get it here quickly?" And everyone was like, "Oh God, whoever forgot whatever it is, the pizza, the whatever." Tim Cook is mad, and clearly this was made for a DM or a text message. And it went on Twitter. Crazy old Tim doesn't know how to use Twitter. Cut to a couple minutes later, the tweet is deleted, and they start the presentation with a video that is composed with the Mission Impossible soundtrack, where a woman is running across the Apple campus as fast as she can, going over obstacles, trying to use Siri to navigate the whole campus, and finally gets backstage, and lo and behold, there is Tim Cook, who opens the case, and inside of it, the clicker. They forgot the clicker.
Who thought this was anything but a setup?
Who thought for a moment that Tim Cook, the head of a technology company, doesn't know how to use technology?
So nobody.
Listen, a lot of people.
I see the tweets. I do. But I either think these people are complete idiots or we're part of it.
I don't know. I don't see because I was watching.
Dude, when you see...
I was trolled by this. I was like,
minutes before.
So you're an idiot, according to Josh, CJ.
That's fine.
Exactly right. Minutes before an Apple event, Tim Cook sends something out. That's a setup. And also, if you think Tim Cook controls his own Twitter account, you're out of your mind.
Here's the thing. I really thought after I figured out it was a setup. What a good Steve Jobs move. This is
if you think Tim Cook writes his stuff without someone else reading it first, you're out of your mind. So this is not a thing.
No, I totally fell for the hype.
I don't even think Tim Cook actually sends a text message unless 3 people have read it first.
You're probably right.
You're probably absolutely.
You know when you're at a restaurant and you're trying to talk to that girl and you're like, "Oh, what should I say?" And you show all your friends and they're like, "No, say this." I'm pretty sure that's what Tim Cook does every time.
There was a really good tweet too that said, "This awesome joke just proved how little faith we all have in Apple sometimes." Which was, because there were a lot of leaks for this thing. I mean, a lot of leaks for this presentation. But this was just a moment where I got to laugh and say, "All right, good on you, Apple. Show me what you got." So I enjoyed it.
They did.
They got me. And the rest of the keynote was pretty good too. I think, Josh, you remarked that it was the best Tim Cook presentation, right?
From purely a presentation standpoint, it was the best Tim Cook has ever done.
So it was good. I will leave it to others to rave and talk and yell and scream about the iPhones. That's not what you're here for. You can get that anywhere. So just wanted to bring up that little moment. I thought it was hilarious. All right, I want to let everyone just sit back and relax for just a moment here. Mr. Burns.
Yeah.
I heard you went to the movies today.
I did go to the movies.
And I heard that we have to talk about the etiquette of the movie theater yet again, in particular, reserved seating. So, sir, I give you the floor. Set the scene and tell us what the hell is going on here.
I will set the scene. I had a lovely lunch. I had a martini, and I walked across the street to the movie theater. And I walk in, and I go to my seat, H15, and I think I'm counting right, but there's someone there. So I walk up close and I look super close at the numbers. And then I just stand there and put my arms up. And this guy looks at me and I go, "The fuck, man? That's my seat." He's like, "Oh, I didn't know." I'm like, "You didn't know you didn't reserve that seat." He walks by me, sits down. I sit down in my seat. which is now warm, and I'm not crazy about that. The guy says to me, I was just trying to get in the center. I'm like, yeah, I hear you, man. I was too. That's why I reserved this seat. Now, here is my general problem. You know, when you buy a ticket for an IMAX show, that you have to select a seat. So here's the thing. I went to see The Predator. Was it the Predator or just Predator?
The Predator.
Great. I went to see that thing. And when I bought my seat, there were two other seats reserved. When I got there were 13 people in the theater. I don't know if they snuck in, and I'm saying snuck in because there was nobody checking tickets.
Right.
And since I didn't need, anything to drink or anything to eat, I just walked in. Nobody checked my ticket, so whatever. I get to the IMAX theater. There's probably 13, 15 people in this theater. This guy sat in my seat. What on earth are you doing when there's an empty theater and you reserved a seat, not sitting in the seat that you reserved? It doesn't make any sense to me. And then when the person walks up who actually reserved that seat, to look at them like they shouldn't be there. Or as a matter of fact, to look at them in any way that isn't, I'm really sorry, I'm a dick.
You got me.
Look, don't sit in my seat. That's all I'm saying. I don't show up at a movie until the previews start. I'm not sitting there for the propaganda. I pay money to reserve a seat. Or rather don't. I do the AMC thing. But either way, I'm reserving a seat. I don't need to be there to watch all the commercials and stuff because I reserved that seat. It's a reserved seat. There's a thing where it says reserved. That means it's fucking not for you. And here's the crazy thing. I'm willing to bet 30 minutes into this movie when I walked out, that dude moved back to my seat. I don't care at that point because I had bailed on the movie. Right. But the etiquette of the whole thing enrages me. And I'm not kidding, dude. I stood in front of the guy, just armed, like
what you gonna do? Like,
he looked up, like, why am I standing here? And I honestly, in a theater of 13, 15 people, I went, the fuck, man, my seat. And I mean, he didn't give me any shit. He moved.
Right.
But I mean, come on.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do? Walk up, see you in my seat, and then sheepishly skulk away?
I'll go sit somewhere else now. And then you're the guy who's in someone else's seat at that point, right?
And not only that, but just the balls. I don't care how empty the theater is. If you reserved a seat, just sit in your seat.
Go ahead. The only time I would kind of be like, yeah, I'll like if the only time I ignore this rule is when, for me, I think it's when previews start. But now that hearing your story, I should probably do this a little later. If I don't get the seat that I really want, or I get to the theater and like, oh, I misjudged where I like to sit. This was a mistake. I am 2 rows back than I normally am. I would, once the preview started, be like, are there open seats? I'm going to go fucking sit there. I would go down there. But you're right. If someone came up and just was walking in my direction, I'd be like, shit. Damn, caught. All right. And then I have to go back.
And that's kind of where I'm at. If the movie starts, right? If not, after the previews, when it says you're not alone in the world, shut your phone down.
Right. Yeah.
When that thing happens, if the
free range,
look, I go to ball games. I'm moving a row at a time.
Yes,
I am. I'm sidling up there a row at a time in a ball game. In a movie theater, though, if there's nobody in that seat when the movie starts, go ahead. But before the previews start, what are you doing?
That's a little bold.
It's a violation. It's a violation.
All right, technical foul.
Brian, you're not even. Do you completely disagree with me, or would you have been throwing popcorn, or what?
Passive aggressively pestering him.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I don't understand it. The word reserved means it's mine.
Okay, all right. So you were sitting back because the whole topic makes no sense to you.
No, the topic makes sense to me. I mean, you obviously are passionate. I don't have anything else to say. You've said it all.
What if I had shown up with a wife and 2 children, and there's some jerk ass sitting and a wife, 2 children, and a Brian, and there's a guy sitting smack dab in the middle of those 5 seats? Like, what do you think my reaction would be? It wouldn't be calm, for sure. It wasn't calm today. And like, I come home, I tell Laura the story. She's like, was that really necessary? And I went, actually, it was my opening salvo. Like that was where I started. It was only going to escalate from there. Like, I'm not sure what I might have done if the dude was like, no. I may have gone like blind.
The worst is I've done the opposite of this, where I come in and I'm like, what the fuck? You're in my seats. And they're like, are you an H7? I'm like, I am an H. Oh,
you're that guy.
I apologize for the accusation, and I realize that I should be a row behind you.
You know where that accusation is not only exponentially worse coming from the person, from the accuser, but then exponentially worse coming from the accused? On an airplane.
Oh, yeah, no.
Why are you in my seat? Why are you in? I'm in 7D, and they're like, here's my boarding pass. I'm in 10C. I'm just gonna walk away. but you're now shamed,
right? Now you're you're sharing that again. It's like it is like an airplane. You are sharing that experience now for like 2 hours.
Oh, it's bad.
That's not good.
It's real bad.
That's not good.
Anyway,
right.
I really appreciate you boys allowing me, and you listeners allowing me to vent my rage about etiquette in movie theaters one more time. Thank you.
All right, well, listener, this is not a one-way conversation. We want to hear from you. If you have anything to say about the Spider-Man for PS4, what's going on with the DC
I have so much more to say. Please talk to me. No one else has beaten this game.
Jack Ryan, we'd love to hear your impression of Jack Ryan. Talk to us. Reach us on Twitter or Facebook at That Kind of Nerd, on Instagram at That Kind of Nerd Podcast. And, of course, if you want to be a fantastic fan, you can share this episode with your friends, because sharing is the ultimate internet currency, and we thank you for your donation. Also, please support the show by going to patreon.com/thatkindofnerd. And again, if you join at the $10 tier, you will get an exclusive episode. This month, we're going to see Peppermint. Is that right? Is that what we decided on?
Yes, Peppermint.
We're going to see Peppermint. And we are going to report back to you our thoughts about the movie, details about that to come, but Peppermint...
Femme Fatale movie, CJ!
Peppermint is the movie.
Femme Fatale movie, CJ!
Sure. Director of Taken, starring Jennifer
Femme Fatale movie, CJ!
Femme Fatale movie, CJ!
Thank you so much for making us your walk around your neighborhood or your drive to work. Femme Fatale movie, listener.
JSK!
We'll see you next week.
JSK!
If you love comics and sci-fi and technology, television, video games, and fantasy, well, take a listen to our show, I'm sure you'll see there's many points where we can agree. Like that Martha as the plot point was just too absurd, and Apple versus Android is a case to be heard, and that Josh Trank's new Fantastic Four was a turd. Well, welcome to the club, because you are that kind of nerd.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Cave Talk.
Why are you chuckling, Josh?
I'm chuckling. I am fully tumescent at the possibilities of the next maybe 30 minutes of my life, as well as my wife's reaction to any of it. I can't, I just can't wait. Let's go. I'm the happy dance.
Ugh, that was good.
Was it good for you?
It was so good. As a matter of fact, it was so damn good that I got myself a seltzer. By the way, this week's seltzer is polar, so I got the good stuff now. This actually has flavor. This is cranberry lime.
Cranberry lime.
Cranberry
Fancy.
lime helps me out. It makes my digestive tract feel good. It's refreshing. You all right?
There's just some violent urination happening. I'm muting my mic.
Like in front of you?
At the desk? Are you okay?
No, the bathroom's on the other side of the wall.
Listen, that wasn't specified. I'm just making sure everything was okay.
I literally can hear it in my headphones, so I know the mic is picking it up. Hold, please, because I have thoughts on this.
Good, because I have no idea where I want to go with it, so please, you're going to have to leave this one.